Some of you may not know me, but my name's Greg, and I am a missionary in Ukraine. I've been here for a little over 2 years, and it's been quite an adventure so far, living life as a missionary in Ukraine. Just ministry just about everywhere I go, whether it's in barbecue places, or it's in gas stations, or on the street, or even in McDonald's, and paying for somebody's food and being able to share Christ in these just everyday places. This is a big part of what I do, for sure. Houses and cars and decks and all of the things get attention in my ministry. So of course the people that I'm doing all that work for get to hear of Jesus. There's home group at Bread of Life Church for English-speaking Ukrainians and anybody who speaks English, really. We're learning right now how to share our faith, and we are clarifying what the gospel is so that when we share our faith, Jesus is proclaimed clearly. Hospitals. There's many men and women that have gone through quite a lot as a result of this war. Men who have lost arms and legs and eyesight, and some of them have lost all of the above. It has been quite an honor to go into these hospitals and see these men and talk to them and hear of the different trials and struggles that they're going through mentally. This is the goal as we go and we minister to these men, is to help the healing process begin and continue with Jesus. We have, and will continue to have ministry in the East, which is where the fighting is happening, the front lines of the war, where we go minister to soldiers on the front lines, and we go eat with them and sleep with them. We've cooked tacos, we have cooked barbecue chicken, we do many different things, but most importantly, we bring the gospel of Jesus Christ into their lives with testimony and by answering questions that they may have, and just hard, difficult things about forgiveness and hate and killing, and what it means to be a Christian while you may have to continue doing these things. So this is a really big part of what I'm certain that I've been called here to Ukraine to do, and that's proclaim Jesus to the soldiers on the front lines of this war. Until I hear further from God, I live in Ukraine. This is my home, and I will continue to minister here until he takes me away. As far as future ministry, there is many thoughts and many ideas that I have to help the rebuilding of this country and the healing of the hearts and the ministry of reconciliation to all who will hear. So I don't have a job per se that I go and build houses and get paid a paycheck for those projects, but most of my support, all of my support, comes from faithful monthly supporters in the States and in different countries, that people that I've met that have seen God working in and through my life and support that. So the funds are used for many different things. I mentioned the hospitals earlier. We pay for products to take into the hospitals, and Cokes and different things that these men don't usually get. I use money for gas. Gas is a big part of the budget here in Ukraine. One of the bigger parts of my budget recently have been medical expenses. I have been dealing with actually 2 blood clots over the past 5 months in my right leg, and this last one is still the same. It's been there for about 4 months, and it's not healing fast. And so there's been a lot of medications and doctor's visits and different things that are happening with that. And I got some cyst in one of my sinus cavities that was just found, and we need to figure out how to address this as well. And so you got to pay rent and bills, and this is not a cheap deal, especially in the winter with the gas prices for heating and whatnot. The vehicles, the cost to repair and maintain 2 vehicles in Ukraine is not cheap, but they're both needed. The great question, is there enough? I'm not sure how to answer that, because I know that the more that there is, the more that can be done. And as of right now, months have been really tight, and I've not done some things because of lack of funds. And so I'm praying for that to change soon. because there's a lot of people that can truly and honestly hear about Jesus if there was enough money to get there. So right now, I would say for my health, it's not still good. And so I need different scans and more medication and more doctor's visits and possible surgery. So this is important to pay for these things. Also, repairs of vehicles. This is very big. It's hard to keep vehicles on the road in Ukraine at all. Also, there's a need for a trailer to move things when we go on big trips. Like we go for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, and we take stuff. And the stuff is a means to talk about Jesus, but it's still a big part of what we do. Of course, the greatest help would be prayer. I can't do this without prayer. There's no way without the prayers of the saints behind me. This is probably the greatest need that we could possibly ever have filled, because through them, our prayers for financial support would come through, and the heart for different countries would be had for the people that are there, and maybe people would go. A prayer for the people that are serving with everything they have in other countries is probably the most important thing that I could ask anybody to do. On top of that, faithful monthly supporters. It's really big, really big. It's easy to give one time, but to answer God's call to give faithfully monthly is big. And this is what I would do. I would ask you to pray for us, and I would ask you to pray if you are to give. And if God says give, then give whatever it is. If he doesn't, please continue to pray. Yeah, so I mail out something monthly via email. You can get connected with me that way. And I just started a Telegram channel and the Signal channel. They're going to have the same content, but I figured I'd have a couple options for people. And I put more day-to-day stuff there than I do big picture missionary stuff. I think that some of the best advice I can give the church right now would be to ask somebody in leadership where the sheet is with the names of all the missionaries and the places they are. And I would pray for each one of them by name and their location and the things that are going on there. They're very important to the church and the work that's being done around the world. They need prayer. We need prayer. Be faithful where you're at. Thank you very much. I love you. I miss you. And I pray for you often. Glad that's not going to be on the video.